Okay, I think what we're going to make out of this stick. Now, we've all seen these people take them and they carve faces in them and they screw them to a board and you can hang your jacket on it or whatever. But I think what we're going to do is something different here today. We're going to try making this into an elephant, and then we'll attach it to a board so that you can set it on your counter or wherever, and you can hang your keys on it, or maybe your coffee cup. But I think that's what we're going to try to do. So let's go ahead and fire up our dremel and see if we can make this look like an elephant. With any luck, it just might look like an elephant. I think the first thing I want to do is try getting these ears cut in. Staying outside my line. This is one buggy piece of wood. Must have been down for a while. Got all kinds of bug holes in it. See that big old bug hole right there just sunk right into it. Oh yeah, we're going deep. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to feather this wood back. Stuff's actually carving out way easier than I thought it was gonna. You can get some of that dead pine. It's like trying to carve a concrete block. This stuff don't carve too bad. It almost smells like white pine. But then again, it's got like a pink cast to it. Orange pink color. It kind of reminds me of white cedar, but it does not smell like white cedar. And I'll have to send a piece of it up to Jordy and have him taste it for me. Maybe he can tell me what it is. You know Jordy, that guy over there carving fusion. See, we still want to leave part of this on there for the key stopper, I guess. Or maybe we'll just cut it off. But look at the bug hole. That's pretty deep. That's like, we're into this wood for about 3/8 of an inch right now. See, you get out in the woods and you find all kinds of cool sticks. we'll feather this back to make the mirrors stand out. Originally, I wanted to carve a bear, a little bear head and a bear body with his arm going that way. But you see this piece is leaning, so I probably could have tried it, but I don't know. I just held it like this. I'm like, yeah, that looks like more like an elephant than it would ever look like a bear. See, we don't really want to we don't want to peel too much of this bottom off, because then it won't want to sit right. It's a little rocky right now. Of course, that could be this table too. It's got a very good flat surface on it. It's kind of made to look like a big piece of slate or something. So wherever you put it on the table is a little different. So I think that'll work. And we'll start bringing that nose down, because they get skinny at the trunk up here. What I usually do is I stay back from the end. That way there, the elephant's got like that flare at the end of their nose, that bugle. Man, I don't know what kind of pine this is, but this burr is really cutting into it. It almost looks like this branch was cracked at one time and it healed. I think a bear would have been pretty cool too, though. To all the new subscribers, welcome. I have not figured out how to get to my new subscriber list and leave a comment for you guys to welcome you to my channel. So I'm just going to do it right here on this video and say thank you. And welcome to the channel. I hope you like what I'm doing. I try not to make it too boring, as I am also new. I'm really impressed with how many people have subscribed to the channel now. I figured it'd just be me and Jordy. Since he's the one that talked me into this, he's got to watch my videos. Talked me into starting a YouTube channel. And then if I lose Jordy as a subscriber, I might as well just hang up my cell phone and do what I used to do. Carve my stuff and post it on my Facebook. And share it with my friends and my family. But I'll tell you, the YouTube community has really been supportive. Other YouTubers have subscribed to my channel. And I think they like what I'm doing, but you know, guys, the only way I'm going to know what you like to see is if you leave a comment. You know, give me some suggestions. If you don't like what's being carved, give me some suggestions. I try carving anything. If I can do it, great. If I can't, well then it means I got to work harder at carving that particular thing. Like I used to hate to carve birds. Birds are hard to carve. Their shapes are fairly easy, but when you start getting into the detail of the feathers and stuff, that, you know, it gets harder. Like ducks. Oh my goodness. I had to carve a duck on a walking stick for this fella. And I laid out 3 different ducks and carved them before I even thought about putting it on a walking stick that I was making for somebody. But I do that with everything. If I'm going to carve an Indian head on a walking stick, I'll take because I usually get my walking sticks a lot longer than what I need. And it's nice to have the same kind of wood. Like, let's say you get a piece of birch and you're going to carve it. Well, you actually want to get a long enough piece of birch, and especially if it's something you never carved before, animal or person that you've never carved before, you want to practice that on an off piece of wood. You don't want to ruin your walking stick that you've had up in the shop drying for 2 years. That's why I always get my stuff a little bit longer, and that way there I can take a piece off of that birch or cedar or whatever it is I've had drying up in the rafters for 2 years, waiting for it to dry out enough to start carving. Now don't get me wrong, you can go out in the woods and get yourself a nice piece of birch, find a dead tree or a broken branch off of one, and if it's green, it's going to carve like a dream. But here's the rub on that. You don't know where it's going to crack. And it could crack right through your hard work. Like, it takes me a couple days to carve an Indian into a stick. You know, Native American, into a walking stick. And it would just break my heart if I sold that or gave it to somebody and they have it for a couple months and they call you up and say, hey, this thing cracked right through that Indian head. I mean, you know, there's no guarantees with live edge wood carving because you really don't know where it's going to crack. But if you've got that drying out up in a rafter for a couple years or even 6 months, at least at that point, if it's going to crack, it's pretty much cracked where it's going to crack. You know what I'm saying? And you can work around it and you can fill it. Yeah, the best filler for wood is the same wood that you're carving. So what I do, if I get a crack, if I got a crack that, let's say you put this animal on here and there's a crack right here, let's say, and you're carving, save some of this stuff right here and mix that with a little white glue and then stuff it in there. And then at least it's the same kind of wood, the same color wood. It blends in pretty good. You know, it's not going to, if you stain your piece, it's not going to stain the same as this because that glue that's in this wood, well, you know, just don't take stain. But I've seen people that we're going to stain things and they take this, a little bit of the stain and they add it to your fluff before they, and they let it dry. And then when it comes time to fill that crack in, they'll go ahead and stain the piece and then mix up this stuff here with glue that's got stain in it and then stuff it in there. And you can barely tell. I mean, you got to be like Daniel Boone in it. You got to be scoping that stuff out, you know, to see the crack. And of course, like on an elephant like this or something with big ears, if you got a crack, you'd fit them ears into that crack if you can to camouflage it because you're making a crack right here. See? So a little bit of planning when you're carving, a little bit of planning ahead and you're good. But then you run into things that you don't see. Like there's a bug hole right here. And it's way, you know, I don't even know how it got in there because it's down in that wood. You know, I mean, if you look how deep we are. And I couldn't see that bug hole from the surface. So I don't know how the heck he got in there. Anyway, see, we got our nose tapered out. We're going to end up cutting the snout thing down a little bit. Because the elephant's got more of a heart-shaped end on their nose, not just round. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to change bits and we're going to go to one of those longer bits. And just like we do with the Christmas trees and all that good stuff, we are going to go in at about a 45-degree angle. We're going to plunge down. I got to watch that bug hole. We got to plunge down. We're going to give, it'll let these ears thin out a bit, but it'll also give it that shadow line that we're looking for. Now we got to find our wrench. Oh, sorry about that. Up the camera. Now I know we got a wrench because we just used it. There it is, hiding underneath the burr box. Burr box. All right, so now we'll stick this guy back in here. And making a burr box is pretty easy too, guys. I got one of these old plastic bins with a lid, and took a piece of, I think it's 1x6 pine, cut it so it fit in the box good, and then I just went through with a bit a little bit bigger than an 1/8 inch and drilled it back on an angle so the lid can shut. If you stand the burr straight up and down, depending on how deep of a box you got, that when you go to close the lid, it hits the tops of the burrs, so it won't close. So I had to I just used a cordless drill, and I think it was a 3/16. It's a little bit bigger than an 1/8, and went in on an angle and drilled all my holes. Okay, you still in focus? Yep. Okay, we're still there. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna try giving these ears some shadow effect. We'll just plunge it in. Just gives that illusion that the ears are separated from the wood. Trying to keep that bit from running away from us. I gotta constantly remind myself to keep that thing forward, keep it in the camera. Now remember, you don't want to thin your ears out too much, because if this thing gets knocked off the counter or whatever, you don't want your ears to break off. This stuff gets fuzzier the closer you get to the core. Now this bit isn't as coarse. It's like a medium grit compared to one of the cut-saw burrs or the extreme burrs. So I'll use this because it doesn't dig in as hard. I'll use this to smooth things out. The way this piece of wood's twisted, it almost looks like he's shaking his head, which is pretty cool effect. Now, we all know elephant heads are round, so you got to come back in here and round that just in front of the ear, right here. And I want to bring that ear over a little bit more. Something like that. And then round it over. And then work that right up into the trunk. I'm no elephant expert. I went to the zoo, just like you guys when you were kids. And from what you see on National Geographic or whatever, one of the nature shows, whenever they got people get run over by elephants. They say if you think getting between a grizzly bear and a cub is dangerous, get between a mama elephant and her calf. See that show, man? There's elephants that are flipping jeeps over. I'm like, well, you wouldn't like it if somebody came into your middle of your living room with a jeep and was filming your family. And your baby's crawling around. Wow, look at that. Fuzzy, fuzzy, fuzzy. I do not know what type of pine this is. That's going to be hard to stand out. It goes right down in that crack. It seems like the deeper you get into the wood, the fuzzier it gets. We'll have to get in with one of them flat sanders and clean that out. What do you think? Does it look like an elephant? Kind of represents an elephant. It kind of looks like an elephant. Does it look like an elephant, or does it look like a water canister? I don't know. Water your flowers with, water can. That would have been pretty cool though, to take that and cut it in where the ears are and make a handle. drill some holes in the end. A little wooden water canister to hold your keys if you're into gardening. You know, that'd look okay too. You know, it all depends on what you're into. All you gotta do, you can go out in the woods, and I guarantee you almost every tree, unless it's like a 10-pole pine, every tree is gonna have a branch that has another branch coming off of it at an angle, which is cool because some of them have the branches come straight off. Not in other trees around here that I've seen, but most trees have that straight branch. You can turn that into a vase. You know, you can make it so you can get a bunch of them, screw them to a board, and make a coat holder or a hat rack. Or I got a bunch of hats. So when I get home, I may just go out in the woods where I know what the trees are and find me some sassafras trees. They got the craziest branches. I don't think a sassafras tree ever grows a straight branch on it. Find me a sassafras tree and get some of them branches, a little bit bigger ones, and use them to make a hat rack out of. And what I don't use, what's great, is because sassafras is one of the best woods there is for smoking meat. Now, I don't do a lot of it, but I got a deer this year, so I will smoke some of that and make jerky and all kinds of things out of it. Hamburger, venison burger, not hamburger. Oh yeah, it'll be eating good this morning. I gotta see if I can get into the woods and get another one. But my family loves the venison. And it's a better meat for you. Has probably the lowest fat content of all the red meat. Yeah, I guess it's starting to look like an elephant. Okay, I'm going to go in and do some cleanup on this, do some sanding, and I'll be right back.